Ever feel that burning sensation when your childhood bully suddenly wants to be your best friend? That's exactly what's happening in Toronto right now. Except the bully has 2 Stanley Cup rings and the friendship comes with a $96 million price tag. The Maple Leafs are about to pull off the most audacious heist in NHL history, stealing championship DNA directly from the teams that have crushed their dreams for years. The insider intelligence that changes everything when NHL insider Frank Saravalli casually drops a bombshell like, everyone has spent a lot of time wondering what Aaron Ekblad might look like in a Toronto Maple Leafs uniform. That's not idle speculation. That's insider knowledge wrapped in diplomatic language, and it should have every hockey fan paying attention. Saravalli isn't some random blogger throwing out wild theories. He's a connected insider who doesn't speak unless he knows something. His comment about Ekblad during Daily Face-Off Live wasn't a hypothetical discussion. It was intelligence being shared publicly. But the Ekblad story is just the opening act. The main event involves one of the most shocking reports in recent NHL memory. Paul Bissonnette claiming on Spittin' Chiclets that Brad Marchand in Toronto is already a done deal at 4 years, $36 million. I got a message from someone very reliable. I heard rumblings it is already agreed upon for times $9 million for Brad Marchand, Bissonnette declared. That would be unreal. That would be a culture setter. The Ekblad equation. Stealing from champions Aaron Ekblad represents everything the Maple Leafs have been missing for decades. At 29 years old, he's entering his prime with back-to-back Stanley Cup championships already secured. This isn't about potential. This is about proven championship performance under the highest pressure. The numbers tell only part of the story. Ekblad managed 33 points in 56 games despite missing time for suspension, then elevated his play when it mattered most with 13 points in 19 playoff games during Florida's championship run. But statistics don't capture his real value. The intangible leadership and championship mentality that transforms entire organizations. What makes this pursuit even more intriguing is Ekblad's emotional championship celebration speech. Despite spending 11 years in Florida, more than I've spent in any home or city in my life, his farewell felt like exactly that, a farewell. The smoking gun? Ekblad revealed his agent specifically told him not to repeat what Sam Bennett said during the celebration, that he wasn't leaving. That omission speaks volumes about his actual intentions and the likelihood of departure from Florida. AFP Analytics projects Ekblad to command 7 years at $7.8 million per season, representing a significant investment. But for a franchise desperate for championship credibility, that's the cost of doing business. The Marchand bombshell that rewrites everything if Ekblad rumors were surprising. The Brad Marchand reports are absolutely earth-shattering. This is a player who has tormented Toronto for over a decade, accumulating 58 points in 59 games against the Leafs and 37 points in 35 playoff games. He's been their kryptonite, their nightmare, their most hated opponent. Now he might become their savior. What makes Bissonnette's report credible is the independent confirmation from Nick Kypreos of Sportsnet, who stated that Marchand will be signing with Toronto on July 1st. When 2 respected hockey insiders independently report the same information, it's not coincidence. It's intelligence. There's no team on the planet right now that can satisfy the lost income he had probably on the last 3 to 4 years of his Boston Bruins deal than the Toronto Maple Leafs. Kypreos explained, I don't know how he doesn't end up as a Maple Leaf. The social media tease that confirms everything, perhaps the most telling evidence, came in Marchand's response to the speculation. When Leafs fans started buzzing about the possibility on social media, Marchand himself commented on Instagram, "Expletive dog, the people want to see it?" That's not the response of someone with zero interest in signing with Toronto. That's someone enjoying the speculation and potentially confirming what insiders are already reporting. The childhood fan connection that makes it perfect. Here's the beautiful irony that makes this story feel like destiny. Brad Marchand grew up as a Maple Leafs fan. After eliminating Toronto from the playoffs, he revealed this stunning connection. I grew up a Leafs fan, and I enjoy playing against the Leafs, Marchand said. I enjoy interacting with fans. It's fun. I don't take myself too seriously. The psychological impact of signing a childhood fan who became their biggest tormentor cannot be overstated. It's the ultimate redemption arc the perfect narrative for a franchise desperate to change its story. The financial reality that makes it possible from a salary cap perspective. These moves become feasible because of Toronto's expected departures. The Leafs are widely expected to lose Mitch Marner and potentially John Tavares, freeing up significant cap space that could be reallocated to proven championship contributors. Marchand is coming off an 8-year, $49 million deal that was widely considered below market value. At 37, this represents his last chance to cash in on a career that includes 2 Stanley Cup championships and a reputation as one of hockey's most clutch performers. The proposed $9 million per season represents fair market value for someone who just posted 51 points in 71 games and followed with 20 points in 23 playoff games during Florida's championship run. The roster mathematics behind the madness, the defensive situation, requires more creativity, as Toronto currently has 7 defensemen under contract. However, Frank Seravalli reports that Brandon Carlo has appeared on trade boards, with the Leafs potentially willing to move him for forward help. Carlo's name has popped up in conversation in recent days, Seravalli wrote. Toronto really isn't itching to move Carlo, but the Leafs may be able to parlay Carlo at a premium position into a higher-end forward to add to the lineup. This creates the roster flexibility necessary to accommodate Ekblad while addressing other positional needs. The championship DNA injection Toronto desperately needs. What makes both potential signings compelling is the championship experience they bring. Between them, Ekblad and Marchand have 4 Stanley Cup rings and countless playoff battles. They understand pressure, intensity, and the sacrifice required to win at the highest level. This isn't about adding talent for talent's sake. It's about adding winners who can teach a franchise how to win. The Maple Leafs have been talented for years, but consistently fallen short when stakes are highest. Adding players who have been there and done that could break their championship drought. The cultural transformation that changes everything. Bissonnette called Marchand a culture setter, and he's absolutely right. Sometimes franchises need veteran leaders who can show younger players what championship commitment actually looks like. Gone would be the narrative of a soft, underachieving team that wilts under pressure. Instead, Toronto would add 2 players known for playoff intensity, willingness to do whatever it takes to win, and proven ability to deliver in clutch moments. The $96 million question that defines a franchise if Toronto signs both players to reported contracts. They're committing nearly $100 million to 2 players past their physical primes but still in their competitive primes. It's a massive gamble that either pays off with Stanley Cup or becomes an expensive lesson in free agency mistakes. But given Toronto's championship drought and pressure from their fan base, this might be exactly the calculated risk they need to take. Playing it safe hasn't worked. Conservative moves haven't delivered. Maybe it's time to go all in on proven winners. The psychological warfare element. There's something deliciously satisfying about the idea of Toronto stealing championship talent from teams that have tormented them. Ekblad was part of the Panther squad that eliminated the Leafs. Marchand has been their nemesis for over a decade. Now both could be wearing blue and white, bringing their championship experience to a fan base that's been starving for success. It's psychological warfare at its finest. If you can't beat them, steal them. The final verdict on franchise-altering moves the Toronto Maple Leafs are apparently tired of being close, but not close enough. If these rumors prove accurate, they're betting that championship experience trumps youth, that proven winners are worth premium prices, and that sometimes the best way to beat your enemies is to make them your teammates. Aaron Ekblad and Brad Marchand represent everything Toronto has been missing: playoff intensity, championship pedigree, and a killer instinct that separates good teams from great ones. Whether these moves actually happen remains to be seen, but credible insiders reporting them suggest real substance behind the speculation. Sometimes the most impactful moves are the ones nobody sees coming. If Toronto pulls off this double signing, it won't just change their roster. It'll change their entire identity as a franchise. The Maple Leafs have spent decades being the NHL's most talented underachievers. These moves would signal a fundamental shift in philosophy, from hoping to win to demanding to win, from building for tomorrow to maximizing today, from being satisfied with moral victories to accepting only actual victories. This isn't just about hockey, It's about changing the entire culture of an organization that's been defined by disappointment for too long. What's your take on these potential bombshell signings? Do you think adding Ekblad and Marchand would finally give the Leafs the championship DNA they desperately need? Or are they about to make expensive mistakes on aging veterans? Jump into the comments with your thoughts and hit that like button if you believe Toronto is about to make the moves that finally break their championship curse.